Okay, we're ready to go.
Great. Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Finance and Claims Committee of the City of Norwalk Common Council for today, July 10th, 2025 at 7:01 p.m. I'll start with the roll call of members. We have Councilmember Heather Dunn, Councilmember Ann Weatherstrand, Councilmember Doug Sutton, and Councilmember Greg Burnett present. So we have a quorum. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, which is the acceptance of the minutes from the regular meeting of June 12th, 2025. Do we have any additions, deletions, or changes to those minutes? I do have a couple. Starting on page 1, under the list of attendees, if we can correct Gino Gatto's name. It's not Gina, but Gino, Gino, Gatto. And also the title for Mark Conti is Deputy Fire Chief, if we can add that to the minutes. Also going to page 2, at the very top, this was a correction from the previous minutes, but it's still showing Mr. Burnett asked regarding the grand list, GARND as in David, not grant list. So we can correct that. And then if we can, on the last page, page 4, we refer to Mark Conti as Firefighter Conti. That is correct, but his correct title is Deputy Fire Chief. So if you can replace firefighter with Deputy Fire Chief, that would be appreciated. Those are the corrections that I have. Does anyone else have any corrections to the minutes? Seeing and hearing none, if we can have a motion to accept the minutes with the necessary corrections. Thank you, Councilmember Heather Dunn. I'll call the question. All those in favor show by a raise of hand. And we have Councilmember Heather Dunn, Greg Burnett, and Ann Weatherstrand. Those opposed have the same right. Any abstentions? And we have one abstention, Councilmember Doug Sutton. Thank you. So the minutes are approved with the necessary corrections. Moving on to the next item, which is public participation. We did not receive any email communications prior to the meeting. And if there's anyone who's listed as an attendee who wishes to raise their hand to speak, if you can do that at this time. Okay, I do not see any hands raised, so we will close public participation and continue on with the agenda, which our first report will be from Oak Hills Park Authority monthly financial statement for May 2025 and the fiscal year 2026 budget. And we have Denise Brown from Oak Hills Park Authority to give us the update. Hello, Denise. You're muted right now. So we agree with everything you just said.
Unmute. Okay, so I'm unmuted now. Good evening, Council.
Yes.
And good evening, everybody on the council. It's nice to see you all. Okay, so here are the May financials for the month of May. So this year we're in our 11th month for the fiscal year. May has been a very strong month due to the exceptional golf rounds that we had even with the bad weather. It's come in through a very strong month for us. Our revenue was over budget by about $241,000, and our expenses were only over by about $9,000. So right now we're looking at about a $232,000 extra for the month of May for going into our final fiscal, going into June, which is our fiscal year end. And that's pretty good considering that January and February, we almost had nothing. So it's like looking at about 9 months of revenue there. So we've got a lot of positive feedback about the golf course. You know, Jim Shell is doing a terrific job. Everybody's pretty happy with the way the course is playing. So that's definitely something that we're very proud to talk about and have. You know, we've been able to improve the course, I think, every single year by doing some capital improvements, and just the way he manages the course, it's been overall a good success for us. So I think that's helped us increase our revenue from year to year. So we've paid the city for the past 11 months, almost $120,000. And we are going to continue with our capital improvements going into the new year. We will be continuing with our second half of the bunker project. We're going to be doing repairs on the cart paths. Some of them do need repairs. And we're going to be doing the well. Not quite sure when, but that well is something pretty important for us to increase our water usage without depending on the city. So we will probably, you know, we get about 50,000 gallons with the current use of our pond that we can use now. And once we get the well, we'll be able to probably increase that to about 85,000 gallons a day. So that'll be a substantial difference for us without using the city water. Of course, we need to get our permit through the state, so all of that's going to take a little bit of time. Does anybody have any questions about the month of May? No?
Any
Okay.
questions? All positive news.
Yes, and the restaurant is ticking up in sales. We've got some golfers coming in and using the restaurant. They are doing well with their private parties, which is always good, but you know, we want to increase the public to come in and use the restaurant too, but they are doing well. They are always trying to tweak their menu and, you know, make it a little more interesting and change it with the seasons and stuff like that. So we're happy with the way the restaurant is starting to go. And so for our budget this year, we just presented it. We sent it to the city, I think just about a week or two ago. We were fairly conservative. We didn't want to get anything out of hand too much. We've, because we're going to be looking at not releasing, but getting a new lease for our carts. This is the 5th year of our carts, so those will be wrapped up. That lease will be wrapped up come before the spring. We'll have to turn those in, and then we're going to have to renegotiate for new carts come probably through the winter. So we'll probably have something set up over the maybe January, February months for the new cart lease. And I mean, everything else, we're sort of running the course the way everything has been. We're going to have an uptick with our personal expenses, and that's going to be due to contracts increases and with the way the minimum wage and the way the money has been, you know, it ticks up every year. We've had to hire, you know, since we are doing good with the golf course, we've had to put more employees on with the golf shop and with our superintendent for the park itself for the maintenance. You know, so all that's going to probably be where most of our expenses are going to be ticking up a little bit higher. But, you know, we're looking at strong golf rounds, you know, starting in July all the way through till November, hopefully into December. And basically, everything is pretty much just, you know, there's nothing major that we see any changes with in the coming year. Of course, we're going to continue to pay down our debt to the city, and we will continue with the capital improvements to, you know, keep the course looking good.
Any major capital improvements?
Well, the cart paths, not the cart paths, I'm sorry, the bunkers is going to be the second half of the project, and that is going to be about $180,000 that we had estimated for the second half. The existing cart paths and the repairs are going to be around 70. The well digging is going to be around 40. Everything else is pretty minor, but, you know, we're probably looking at about 300,000 in, improvements and repairs over the next fiscal year. Our tennis center is up and running. It's doing well. You know, we've been able to, right now we're at a level of improvements so that we don't really have too much that we're looking at. Except down the road, we might need to do some irrigation. That irrigation system for the tennis courts is about, I think it's about 40 years old. I'm not exactly sure. It's working fairly well, but we're constantly, you know, having issues with certain little things that we have to keep improving or repairing. But, you know, so that'll be something down the road we'll have to look at. But, basically, you know, we're just going along. Does anybody have any particular questions about the, coming year?
Any questions?
Mm-mm.
Okay, yeah, it looks like it's all, again, good news and sound budget going forward with great improvements. And it's good to see that you can absorb the improvements and not need to come to the city to say we need funding for these improvements. So that's a plus.
Well, we do have a reserve. We have about 450,000 in reserve that, you know, is in the money market and the CDs. So if we need to tap on that, we can. You know, we're trying to keep that as solid as we can for as long as we can, but obviously we do have that we can kind of fall back on if we need to tap into it here and there.
Right.
Which is good. Okay, so thanks
Okay.
very much, everybody, and everybody have a very good night.
Okay, thank you,
All right.
Denise. We
Bye-bye.
appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, moving on in the agenda, we'll move on to item B, C, and D, which is the narrative on tax collections dated July 2025, monthly tax collectors report dated June 2025, and the claims committee report dated July 2025. And I believe we'll need to handle the claims separately because there's an item we need to vote on there. So let's cover the claims committee report first, and then we'll address the narrative and monthly tax collectors report. Over to you, Lisa B.
Thank you. Good evening. The claims committee report does include this month a special request due to the dollar amount $14,429.56. It was a duplicate payment for a property that was made. The taxpayers escrow agent paid it and their closing attorney paid it as well. So one of those payments needs to go back. But we do need you to vote on that for us before we can process it.
So do we have a motion to approve the claims committee report dated July 2025, which includes a duplicate payment of $14,429.56? Councilmember Ann Witherstrand, thank you. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor show by the sign of raise of hand. And it is unanimous. Thank you. So we will move this item forward to the next common council meeting on Tuesday, July 22nd for approval.
Thank you. Moving along, for the month of June, we are giving you two separate spreadsheets because we are wrapping up the one fiscal year, the fiscal year that ends June 30th, 2025. And we are reporting on advanced collections that we took during the month of June on the new levy that came due on July 1st of 2025 for the fiscal year that ends on June 30th, 2026. To further complicate, it's the 2024 grand list. So 24, 25, and 26. the good news, it's pretty much all good news this month. So for the end of our fiscal year, for the 12-month period, ending on June 30th, we reached 98.49% of last year's levy. I'll discuss the new levy shortly. 99.16 for sewer and 88.82 for IPP fee. And an additional $7.8 million in past due taxes, largely on account of the tax sale that we had in September of 2024, which the revenue came in the prior fiscal year. In terms of other things other than the new billing, our cannabis receipts as of the end of June were up to in excess of $300,000. We had just started that in April of 2024. I'm sorry, yeah, it was April 2024. So just over a year, that was how much we collected there, and it will continue to grow. There are now 3 dispensaries in Norwalk that we bill. But the news that I'm the happiest about is the fact that we were able to get our new tax bills out earlier in June. Motor vehicle bills were mailed on June 11th. The real estate and business personal property came later. We included, as you had indicated, your desire to have us include an explanation with the motor vehicle bills about the new assessment valuation method that the state implemented this year, and that went over very well. It was very well received. It really cut down on the number of questions and phone calls and things like that. So that was a really good idea, the insert. We also included an insert with the real estate bills, reminding about the second year of the phase-in and that we have 2 more years still to go. We collected over $20 million during the month of June, with the bills going out early, including it was 25% of our motor vehicle levy we brought in before the bills were even due. And the money continues to come in. As of yesterday, we were at, where are we here? Almost 40% of our motor vehicle bills are already paid. 6.5% of business personal property and nearly 10% of our real estate bills. That was through the 10th of July. Folks can pay online, they can pay by phone, they can pay in person at our office, they can pay in person at one of 10 banks. If they don't want to navigate the City Hall parking lot, we try to make it as convenient as we can. Of course, they can still pay by mail. We send them an envelope if they wish to do that. The last day to pay is August 1st. So by sending those bills out early in June, we extended the collection period by 2+ weeks, almost 3 weeks, giving people more time to make the trip in. It just makes it for a lot smoother collection period for everybody. We have also begun work on a mini tax sale that is going to be held in September on behalf of the planning and zoning department to allow us to assist them to collect some delinquent zoning violation fees that they were unable to collect any other way. So we started working on that. The first set of letters went out July 1st. In case you hear anything about that, there are about a dozen properties involved. And this is the first time that, to the best of my knowledge, it's the first time that a municipality has utilized tax sale to pursue delinquent zoning violation fees. The law was changed as of October 2024. The General Assembly gave us the authority to treat zoning fees like we treat blight liens, which we already collect on behalf of blight enforcement, collect through tax sale. So that's something new, and we will keep you posted on that. And other than that, I think that's all I have, but I'll be glad to take your questions.
One question I have, are you aware of any other towns that have implemented the tax sale for delinquent zoning properties with success?
No, because it's brand new.
Okay.
Until October 1 of 2024, we did not have the authority to do this. So the law changed, and Senator Duff was instrumental in getting that legislation passed that allowed us to do it. And it was because we wanted to do it this way in Norwalk. So he was able to get that, the Community and Economic Development Department worked with him, and he was able to get the law changed, but it was effective only October 1, 2024. So this is our first opportunity to try this. And I think it's about a dozen properties, and they owe us about $230,000 in zoning violation fees, anything from $3,000 to more than $40,000. And some of them go back quite a number of years. So this is a way to try to enforce payment of those fees and give zoning a little more authority to issue those fines and get their constituents to pay attention when the fine is issued and not let it linger.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Lisa B? Again, we are creeping up towards that golden number, 99%. Well, we're going to get there. We're going to get there.
We have the 60-day collections to look forward to. So our auditors examine our collections through the end of August on the immediately prior grant list. So we will continue to give you 2 reports for this month for July and then for August. So we have this month and next month to try to creep that up a little bit more. So we're trying.
Great, great, excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, if there's no other questions, thank you for the update, and we look forward to hearing more about this new approach to the tax sales for the zoning properties, how that turns out. So more to come on that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
You as well. Don't forget to pay your taxes, everybody. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. Here.
Okay, you heard it. The word's out. Okay, moving on to the next update report is from our tax assessor, Paul Gorman. Paul?
Good evening, everybody. And just to try to help Lisa out, hey, who knows, maybe your bill being paid will be the one that pushes her over that 99% range. I have to pay mine to Trumbull. Sorry. So things going on in the assessor's office with Lisa. As she said, the bills are out, so the phones are ringing. Yes, the inserts probably did cut down on the calls, but there still are plenty. I'm noticing a trend that most of the calls are for motor vehicle calls, and they are for people with older vehicles. And it happened to my car as well. With this new format from the state, some people are going to see that the value of their car is higher this year than it was last year. They may still be seeing a decrease in their taxes because we had such a large drop in the mill rate due to the law change, but they're seeing increases in their valuation. And so we've been getting a lot of calls about that, getting a lot of people coming in over the past week or two to have their car inspected. Because there's a program where if they come in and say that the car and prove that the car has not been modified and it's over 20 years old, we could put it under a $500 assessment on a go-forward basis. So that's what we've been handling on a day-to-day basis here due to the bills. We're also getting caught up on permit work, getting my assistant assessor and the other inspectors in the room out into the field, and also utilizing all the tools at our fingertips, like our near map access that allows us to see real-time GIS flyovers to get our field cards up to date and prorate as much onto the grand list as we can as projects are becoming completed. As promised, I'm going to hopefully effectively share my screen, and I am going to show you the spreadsheet for the elderly program that we've been doing for the last few years so that you could see where the changes have come. So as you know, the elderly program is a 2-year period. So the comparisons are from 22 to 24. And if you just take a look at if everybody see what's on the screen? Did I do it effectively?
Yes, we can see your screen. I don't know if you have the capability to enlarge it a little bit.
No, because it's just opened in Excel. I don't
Okay.
know if there's a way to do that, but I can email it to everybody, or I can email it to you, Greg, if you'd like, and you could give it out to everybody.
That would be great because it's a little hard to see the numbers on the screen. So,
Sure.
but
Well,
yeah.
I'll read them off.
Yes.
So, for 2024, the maximum qualifying income for the state went up $6,000. It was at $49,100. It went to $55,100. Our relief program stayed the same. Our levels didn't change, so we're at $62,100 and $76,500 as our maximums, and our benefits stayed the same at $1,500 if you were below the 62.1 and $900 if you were below the 76.5. We had 1,062 people apply this year, and that was an increase of 141. And we had 678 state elderly homeowner participants, which was a decrease of 38. And that could be due to moving or deaths, or possibly some people fall off the program, especially the state level program, because they have an income spike in the year of their renewal. Maybe because they had to take a larger than normal withdrawal from their 401k. But they're always able to come back the following year if their income falls back into line with the program, and they just get onto a new 2-year renewal program. We had total tax relief for elderly homeowners for the fiscal year of 25 through 26 of $1,812,942, which was an increase of $142,343 of assistance being given out. The average tax credits dropped to $1,707, which was a $107 drop on average. And our total state benefits handed out was $397,841, which was a drop of $25,831. And as you know, the state benefits are no longer reimbursed. So that's actually just a lower end local program that we implement for the state. And then the bottom where the color boxes are, that's just breaking things out by income level, to just show where the majority of our people are falling. And in the so in the first quartile, which goes in the 2024 year, went from 0 to a maximum of $29,087. The average was $20,984. The minimum was down $23. The maximum was up $6,697, and the average increase was $4,773. The second quartile saw increases across the board. And so did the third quartile. So people's incomes have been rising. But in the fourth quartile, we had an increase to the minimum, but the maximum dropped by $7. But the average increase in the fourth quartile was $8,030 per applicant. So, and everything with the homeowners program is completed, and we will start planning towards the next one come next year. Probably towards the end of the year, we'll wait to see if anybody decides to do any changes to the program. I can tell you the most consistent complaint I get when people call in, other than the fact that there's never enough money given, it doesn't matter if it's the state level program or the local program, but I do field a lot of phone calls from people that are not happy with the fact that the local program has the 5-year tie to it, that you have to have been paying taxes for 5 years. So just because I took 3 phone calls today that was the complaint of the day. But I've had several over the past couple of weeks. Just as people are moving in and they're in the age range, but not the situation where they've been living here for 5 years yet. So I just figured I'd pass that along because you guys always seem very interested in at least knowing the details about this program. And then the next thing for me to be able to share is about Municipal Tax Service, which is the organization that we contracted with to do our motor vehicle research. Not much has changed in the statistics since this last update, because it's been over a month. The phone calls that people are going to make and the mail-in inquiries that they're going to make seem to have trickled off. The gentleman that normally gives me the bi-monthly updates, unfortunately, he's been out sick all week. So, but when I did text him today, he said he thinks there's only been like 2 or 3 more inquiries that have come in against the 423 cases that were created. And he's hopefully going to be in tomorrow, and we're going to be having a conversation about getting this first set of bills ready to be put into the system and sent out. Be having conversations with Lisa and Al once I have an opportunity to talk to MTS about how we're going to proceed on this. There'll be a spreadsheet that's going to show the entire list of everybody whose cars are being added, what years they're being added for, what values they're being taxed at. It's going to be a little challenging this first year because they could be adding up to 3 years. So we're going to be doing bills. If somebody was having a bill added for 3 years, they're going to be being added for the 22, the 23, and the 24 grand list. And so we're going to be billing them 2 different ways. They're going to get 2 bills for the old style and 1 bill for the new style. So there's going to be some challenges, but I'm sure with both our teams and the team at MTS, we'll hit a home run and get a little bit more revenue in from the people who had been avoiding paying. And outside of all that, I've done a lot of talking, so I'll open it up for questions.
Okay, if you could stop sharing, that'd
Sure.
be appreciated.
Yep. Oh. There we go.
Great, thank you. So we will we'll get the senior tax relief spreadsheet out to everyone so that you can look at it a little closer and see the numbers. Any questions for our tax assessor, Paul Gorman? Okay, good. Thank you, Paul, for the update. All positive input. I'm glad the questions are
excuse me,
not
Greg?
coming in. Yes,
Greg, I hate to interrupt, but there is one other thing I wanted to mention.
sure.
I think you all received the same email from Sarah Rabito yesterday, because I was
Yes.
so Councilmember Freyer actually put her directly in touch with me. I had conversations back and forth with her about what it was she was looking for. I did, Greg, provide her with that abstract that I provided to you, asked her if that suited her needs. I haven't heard yay or nay yet, but I'm assuming that since it's been over 24 hours since I gave her the information, it must have been helpful in filling out what she was trying to fill out. But I just wanted everybody to know that that email has been addressed and she has been hopefully helped.
Good.
Okay.
Now, and just so everyone knows, that was in relation, a question related to the grand list. So, good. Thank you for addressing that.
You're welcome. You guys have a great night, and I'll send that email to you right now, Greg.
Great. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate
Have a
it.
good night.
Okay, moving on to the next item, which is the purchasing agent report, and we have Sharon Connors here with us this evening to go through the purchasing report. That report was distributed this afternoon. So over to you, Sharon, to cover the quarterly update.
Okay. Evening, everybody. So this report is from April 1st to June 30th. We go by the calendar year. In the report, we have about 12 projects or expenditures that meet the threshold from 25K to under 100K. I think pretty much all of them were procured through the state or cooperative purchasing associations contracts, which is good. Grand total of that quarter is $590,821.89. And variety of expenditures, about half of them are about IT related expenditures between BOE, IT and IT. Couple other items with DPW, TMP, finance risk, library, and building management. So, any questions?
I did have one question, just, and I'm glad you mentioned the kind of the parameters in terms of what this report is.
Mhm.
Because I know there's an item that we'll be adding to the agenda tonight, and the total amount was 35,000. I'm just curious as to why that would not qualify on this list to be addressed.
Sorry, I didn't look at the agenda. So is it the one with IT and is it a multi-year contract?
No, this is the one with the library related to printers.
Oh, that's a multi-year contract.
Oh, so
That's
that does not, so multi-year contracts
still,
are viewed separately
yes,
than what we're looking at here.
yes. Multi-year
Okay.
contracts are still required by the city charter to go through common council authorization, along with single source expenditures over 20K and greater, and then grants. Obviously that's not really under purchasing purview, but the two ones that come under purchasing purview are the sole source or single source and multi-year contracts.
Okay.
But great question. These are the ones that you would not see.
Right. Right. Yeah. So yes, thank you for that clarification so that
Mhm.
everyone's on the same page. Great. All right. 12 items that we did not have to address, but are being addressed. So, any questions for Sharon as it relates to the quarterly report? Okay, great. I guess the only question I have, I know at one point we were talking about the frequency of getting the reports. We're currently getting them quarterly.
Mhm.
Is that workable? Is it?
Yeah, actually it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you, and we'll continue to keep track of these items as they come through the procurement office.
Great. Thank you, everybody.
Great.
Have a good evening.
You too. Thank you. That moves us on to new business, and we have several items to address. I would like to, at this point, suspend the rules to add an item to the agenda. So first we need I need a motion to suspend the rules to add an item to the agenda. Okay, Councilmember Doug Sutton. All those in favor of adding the motion to add an item to the agenda, show by a raise of hand. And it's unanimous. Thank you. And now the item that is being added is I'll read it as follows. Authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute a 5-year, 60-month agreement with Connecticut Business Systems, CBS, for library printers. The annual amount not to exceed $7,032 for a total not to exceed $35,160 will come from the Norwalk Public Library account number as noted, machinery, equipment, rentals. Can someone move that item? Okay, Councilmember Heather Dunn. Thank you. And we have with us the Library Director, Sherelle Harris, to take us through this request.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for allowing this on the agenda this evening. And thanks Sharon. I don't know if Sharon is still on, but Sharon worked on this contract tirelessly. So, and we're finally here. So we're basically replacing TGI, which was our former company, to go with CBS, which is a Xerox company. We're replacing our internal computers. There's a savings of roughly $113.04 per month. But with this contract, which is really great, is that we will own the printers at the end of the term. So we're not just printing, we're renting to own. So that will be great. The printers are upgraded. I don't know if you have the packet. It's so basically they're internal printers, and that's basically it. So the benefits are we get more prints per month. With either one, we pay per print, so per page. We pay this one, we get 6,000 black prints per month, 4,000 color prints per month. So that should help with the overages that we've gotten from the other company. And then there's just a breakdown of the different types of laser jets and color laser jets that we're getting.
One question I have is, after the life of the lease has expired, and Norwalk now will own the printers, would we have to then take out an additional service plan to maintain them?
Great question. I don't know if Sharon's still on the line or not, but my guess would be yes. Is that we would definitely need some type of coverage, yes. How much that would cost, I am not sure, but I can get back to you after discussing with Sharon.
Yeah, I'm just curious if I mean, it's not something that has to be worried about for the next 5 years. But looking ahead, if, obtaining these printers is a good thing, but they're printers and printers break down. So if we don't have a
Sure.
service contract, then it's like, the cost to maintain them might be, for 5-year-old printers might be, it may not be worth keeping them. We might look to get more updated technology and better performing printers. So owning them may not be a great thing after 5 years, but maybe CBS offers some kind of discounted service plan after 5 years, so to maintain them, but that would be something that it would be worth knowing if that's possible.
Oh, for sure. Great point.
Great. Okay, does anyone have any further questions on the printers? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of this authorization show by raise of hand. And it's unanimous. Thank you. So we will move
Thank
this
you.
item.
Appreciate you all.
We'll move the item to the full common council on Tuesday, July 22nd for final review and approval.
Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, moving to item A1, authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to Magic School, Inc. for AI tools for an amount not to exceed $25,800, account number noted. And item 2 is authorizing the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to OpenAI LLC for AI tools for an amount not to exceed $34,323.29, account number noted. And do we have a motion on this item? Councilmember Ann Weatherstrand, thank you. And we have with us Ralph Varasese and David Hop from the Board of Education IT Department to cover these two items.
Great. Well, thank you, council members and stuff, and good to see you tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions about what you'd have on this, as well as the next item that you're going to see. But these are some AI tools. These are actually 2 out of 4 companies that we are working with. All of our schools over the next year are actually working. It's part of our professional development. It's also part of the work that we're doing to make sure that we implement the Portrait of a Graduate and give students the skills they need, as well as teachers the resources that they need to be able to teach in the environment that we're in today's current world. So we are actually working with 4 different providers, which we've vetted and worked with over the last 6 months with our principals. We've been sharing some of the work that we've been doing and piloting with the board. These 4 companies, 2 of which you're seeing tonight, which are OpenAI, and you probably know them more as ChatGPT. So that's actually the product that's there. The company is OpenAI. And then Magic School, which actually uses a lot of the similar tools, which is catered towards schools, really probably more towards K-8 schools, and that's actually who's actually contracted with those for these tools. What we're doing is actually making sure that once again, we use these tools in a manner that teachers are able to create lesson plans that they need. They're able to actually, differentiate instruction. We're making sure that we're giving students the skills that they need, especially around critical thinking and communication, on how to be able to kind of get ahead of understanding these tools. We'll be spending a lot of time this year with the idea of responsible use. So we've developed guidelines for teachers, we've developed guidelines for students, we've developed professional development paths for each one of our verticals, which means that we've talked with principals, we've been talking with teachers, we've actually been working on guidelines as well and working with students as within the schools. We have coaches that are assisting with this process. So it's really just part of our way of actually making sure that students are prepared for the future. These are two of the companies that we're going to be working with. We're also going to be working with another company called Brisk, and the final one is Google's AI platform, which is called Gemini. So those are actually our 4 platforms. Gemini, we were able to incorporate into, and you'll see that I think as a purchase already in one of the ones that was mentioned before by Sharon. That's going through. It's a smaller purchase, but it's in conjunction with our Google licensing right now. And then Brisk was actually just also a smaller implementation, depending on the schools. These 4 platforms too, just so you know, one of the things we also vetted is from a student data privacy piece, all of the data that's being used, and one of the reasons why we need licensing, we can't just have people using free tools and putting student data into their work with it, because then it just becomes out there in the public. We need to make sure that we've actually contracted with companies that are saying that our data is our data and it's not being shared. So once we actually use these tools within our own domain, nobody, like the data that's there is not shared out from our space. So like I said, so we did a bit of vetting, but just to kind of give you a little bit of an understanding of like where we're going with AI and how we're trying to start to implement this to make sure that we do it effectively for our kids and actually for our staff.
Great. Yes, Councilmember Heather Dunn and then Councilmember Ann Witherspoon.
So I have a question. So Magic School, you're only providing K-8?
Well, right now, we worked with all the schools and we shared with them all of the different tools. And for the last, really since about January, we've been going through a process of saying it's like, try this, try that. Out of all of our schools, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 have wanted to be able to use Magic School as their tool. So each school was given the option of one of those 4 possibilities to be able to use for this coming year.
Okay, so I'm at Norwalk High School.
Yes.
And I use Magic School all the time, but I bought my own subscription, so I will continue to have to do that because it's only for the K through 8, for example,
Well, so you guys are getting Brisk.
which I don't like, but that's
Oh.
okay.
So, but yes, no. So, and we actually, there are ways that we can kind of work through, as these contracts have grown, making sure that the date, we just want to make sure with whatever you're doing that these are the products where if we're putting student data in, if you're creating a teacher lesson plan and you're not putting any student data in there, that's fine. But if you're actually going to use it to try and differentiate and you want to put in student test scores and actually come up with, that's the tools that we're actually focused on that have to have a license so that we keep things private. And Brisk is the one that actually I think you'll be working with at Norwalk High this year as a tab. Well, I mean, I think the school, I should say, we'll be working with. But
And just one more comment before I'm done. Have you, when you talk about AI, I've talked to 2 kids in the last week who basically blew through Edgenuity using AI.
yeah.
ChatGPT, they've gotten credit for, full-on math courses using ChatGPT. Is there any way to stop the kids from doing that?
Well, I think the best way of doing it is what you're going to actually see in our Future Ready program this year, which is a lot more project-based learning, where you have to actually be able to perform the stuff that's going on. So Edgenuity will be kind of one of the pieces there that's actually used as a tool, but it's not the be all end all.
So they won't be getting credits just for math.
No, I mean, really, we're going to be looking at more project-based learning, similar to what P-TECH is doing also and how they're being trained in PBL works. So we're doing some of that same work. We will still use Edgenuity though as credit recovery. So that is something that I think will always, kind of be in place. But yeah, it is hard, and it's something that we're trying to navigate too. And part of it is really, it's a larger conversation we're having too. This is that responsible use piece of really understanding and then like ethics around this, and something that we really have to spend a lot of time on with our students, with our teachers, everybody, to make sure that we all understand what this world is that we're going into and how important it is to be able to kind of be able to navigate that. And one way or another, students are going to be using these tools. We have to make sure that we give them we don't go down the same path that we've seen 15 years ago. Now we see what's happened with social media. We want to get ahead of the curve as quickly as possible to make sure we don't get in the same situation. So yeah, it's new orders for all of us.
I just had a kid graduate who can't make change with a $5 bill and mastered an algebra class in Edgenuity, and I don't know.
Huh.
We have to be on top of how kids are using it too from the back end, I guess.
Agreed.
Thanks.
Councilmember Ann Witherspoon.
Yeah, more of a comment. I appreciate Councilmember Dunn's real world report because that's very valuable to hear from the teacher perspective. And I just to appreciate the detail that you're and the responsibility you're using and the judgment you're using in rolling this out, because it is evolving and it's going to continue to evolve, these tools. I appreciate the focus on responsible use and ethics and just kind of checking in with that, and also data protection.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And I think part of it too, it's like I go back to this idea of like, if we look back 15 years ago and we really started seeing social media use, some of us kind of, I don't want to say we buried our heads in the sand, but we didn't do what we needed to do in the educational world to be able to kind of get ahead of this. And I think a lot of our social emotional issues probably could have been addressed, by us kind of being a little bit more ahead of the curve. And so the only way we can do that is really learning how to use the tools from the beginning. And it's still, I wouldn't say it's a Wild West, but it's new territory for everybody. So I thank you for that. And then we're also trying to do a lot more this year also with family engagement to be able to let
Right.
parents understand a little bit more about what this means and how important it's going to be for them to be involved with their kids in using these tools.
that was the second part of my sort of question and comment, just in terms of family engagement. Exactly that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
My question is from a financial standpoint. We have these multiple tools and I'm sure each one of them offers something a little bit different. So, but is there no one tool out there that could satisfy our needs?
Not, it's, Greg, it's so new right now. I think in about 2 or 3 years, we'll be at that point to be able to say that. And we may actually be able to create our own tools at that point. You know, we may be able to just use ChatGPT and put what I call a skin on the front of it, which is develop our own tools. And some of our coaches are already doing that. So we actually have coaches that are actually writing chatbots that help teachers be able to differentiate. I mean, Heather at Norwalk High, I know that one of the coaches there, Dan Kreiness, has actually been doing this a little bit with some of the tools. So he'll actually take our curriculum, he'll take all those other pieces, use a tool like ChatGPT to be able to actually then create something for a teacher to go to and say, how do I actually differentiate this lesson for my class? Or how do I come up with a different way of teaching this? So right now, though, we've got to experiment a little bit more with the tools for the next few years to kind of get to there. But eventually, you know, I think a lot of these companies are going to buy each other up too. So I mean, it's still so new, but they're offering very good pricing though too. When it comes down to it, many of them are around the same price per head for using things because they all want to be competitive with each other. There are some other tools that are out there that we're not even addressing, and it's because we just don't know about student data privacy with them. So we wanted to also make sure that we could kind of put guardrails up for everybody.
Okay,
So
thank you.
one of the ways that I've been using it, for example, is, you know, it coming up with like a math word problem. Each kid has something they're passionate about. So, you know, for example, if I have a kid who loves Disney, could do, you know, a dozen word problems with Disney characters. The problem is that they include like Pocahontas and Snow White, things that kids don't necessarily know. I'm
Yeah.
like, more current, please, sometimes with but it's really helpful to kind of make kids, it helps with engagement if you can use it that way.
Yeah, no, definitely. And if we teach kids prompting, that's like another skill that we need to start doing. So how do you get it? Part of it, it's very conversational. You have to kind of learn how to use it and iterate on when you're getting things that you don't want. And we see this a lot with a bias, where if you try to create imagery and stuff, a lot of the imagery is not what is really true reality now. It's just stuff that they've seen. So we're trying to figure out ways to be able to teach people to understand that you need to prompt it in a way to be able to understand so you're not getting biased response. And that's something else that we're really, really, really focused on. I mean, it's just something that we believe in as educators to make sure that we do this. It doesn't make a difference that it's a piece of technology that, has to be able to kind of actually fit into that mold of making sure that we have kids that are ethical and just good all around people as they kind of go into this world.
Okay, any other questions or comments? I did have one question. It's just a nit on my part, I think. When I'm looking at the authorization and it says AI tools with a small I. Did I miss something? Isn't it always a capital I?
Yes.
I only typed it that way so it's easier to read.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it's some kind of new version that came out where A and a small I means something different than AI. So, okay. We'll make the correction going forward.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Seeing and hearing no further questions, I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving these two authorizations show by a raise of hand. And it is unanimous. Thank you. So we'll bring these two items forward to the full Common Council on Tuesday, July 22nd for final review and approval.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you. Moving on to item B, I believe that's also under your purview, Ralph, reads as follows: authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to Power School Group LLC for student information system software for amount not to exceed $232,511.50, account number noted. Do we have a motion on this item? Councilmember Doug Sutton, thank you. Back to you, Ralph and David.
Okay, great. And thank you, Dave, too, for joining me too tonight. So, really, the Power School is probably a little less exciting than AI is at the moment. Power School is our student information system. So this is really our hub for all of our student data, grading, attendance, discipline, any of the state reporting that we have to do comes out of Power Schools. So it really is the heartbeat of how we actually hold on to our data for our students. And this is just the licensing and our moving this forward in making sure that we have it in place for this coming year. And it is sole source. You can only buy from Power School.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about this authorization? Okay, seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving this authorization show by a raise of hand. And it is unanimous. Thank you. So again, Ralph and David, we'll move this forward to the full council on Tuesday, July 22nd for final review and approval.
Sounds good. Great. And thank you so much. And everybody have a wonderful night.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you. You too.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, moving on to item C, which reads as follows: authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to Environmental Systems Research Institute, Inc., ESRI, in the amount of $60,300 annually for 3 years, not to exceed a total of $180,900 for the Geographic Information Systems Platform, account number noted. Do we have a motion on this item? Councilmember Heather Dunn, thank you. And we have our Director of IT, Joyce Liu, to take us through this authorization.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So this agenda is requesting your approval to renew our GIS system. GIS system is short for Geographic Information System. GIS really help the city work with the map and location data to understand important patterns and trends. So we've been relying on ArcGIS for the past 20 years. This mapping software really support everything from road planning, zoning planning, and to emergency response and to the customer service. So it is a system our staff knows that it's a foundation for all our maps and tools. And it's also work almost with all the vendors software out there, and they are all integrated with the ArcGIS. So this renewal is a sole source, so purchase, because Esri is the only company that authorized to sell and support ArcGIS. To help with the budget challenging, Esri, they have been agreed to freeze their price for all the government users for 2 years and increase the number of users licensed at no cost. So, but instead we need to enter a 3-year agreement to lock in the deal and allow more staff access without increasing the cost. So this support IT's effort to maintain service and grow GIS user across the city. I'm happy to answer any question you might have for this purchase.
One question I have, is this tool utilized by other departments in the city beyond just IT?
Yes, it's across almost every department. Like I said, from code enforcement, planning and zoning, conservation, police department, fire department, all the vendor software we have, as long as they have like location, related data, we are all integrated with the GIS, So we have the ArcGIS Online, so all the cloud application, they're all have a connector to our ArcGIS Online database to pull information of parcels, and it could be from the pothole, or basic infrastructure, DPW maps is all stored in the GIS database.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments on this item? Okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving this authorization show by raise of hand, and it is unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you so
And
much.
we will move this item to the full common council on Tuesday, July 22nd for final review and approval. Great. Thank you, Joyce. Moving on to item D, which reads as follows. There's two items. Item 1, authorize the allocation of an additional $320,000 in special capital appropriation funds for the Narragansett School HVAC Improvement Project, account number noted. And 2, authorize the budget reduction in the amount of $320,000, the city share, from the Brookside HVAC Improvement Project, account number noted. Do we have a motion on this item? Councilmember Doug Sutton, thank you. And we have Alan Lowe from Building Management to take us through these two authorizations.
Good evening. This is a project that the Common Council has seen, heard about, and approved various activities throughout the last 2 years. Typically, with the state of Connecticut for school improvements, the state does not reimburse repair and replacement, generally speaking, like boilers and air conditioning units and stuff like that. But about 3 years ago, the state implemented this program, and this is the second year of this program. We are eligible to submit a project to the state and potentially get approval to do HVAC projects, which is heating, air conditioning, and ventilation, heating, HVAC projects. And our reimbursable rate is 60%. So, which is something that we typically wouldn't get money for. 2 years ago, December 2023, we submitted 6 applications to the state, and we got the state of Norwalk has been very lucky in terms of we got approval of all 6 projects. The total project amount is around $36 million. The city share is around $14+ million, and the state share at 60% equal around $21 million. So it's a substantial approval of these projects. Since the approval of these projects, these are, by the way, these are all 6 individual projects, so they're not tied together. They're not like one project with 6 locations. It's actually 6 separate projects. So with the state approval, we started going through the design phases, and at the spring of this year, we went out to bid with anticipation that we would do construction this summer. And most of these projects take 2 years to finish because there's abatement involved, there's preparation work, and also ordering equipment. It takes probably like 4 months to get. So with the bidding of these projects during the spring of this year, there's no way we would go and deliver equipment. Anyway, so except on Brookside, we actually did a separate process by actually bidding out early. So it's a very complicated strategy that we developed in order to get at least one project to, generally speaking, move forward a little faster than the rest of them, because it's a direct replacement of rooftop units. In any event, so we went through bidding process recently, and today's market in terms of a mechanical contractor bidding this project, it's a very busy market, and there isn't too many mechanical contractors around to bid on these projects. So for most of these projects, we only got one bid, and they're substantially higher than what our budget number is. So we went through a whole process working with purchasing department and Board of Education. We scoped the project, and we figure ways to do this to get most of the priority items into the project and accept bids. So the Common Council recently has approved 5 projects, which include Brookside, Brian McMahon, Rowayton, Narragansett, and Silvermine. One project that we struggle on is actually Marvin School. The bids are so high, and the scope was so challenging. Also, they have remediation issues. We are looking to rescope that project and we go out to bid again in September this year. And we were looking to get bids back in this fall and then go through approval process and all the equipment in February, January, February next year. And so that we have the equipment and to be installed next summer. So that's one project that we're still a little behind in terms of trying to get onto the process. But meanwhile, so we are able to rescope these projects and we work on the funding portion of it, and we're able to sign contract for all the other 5 projects. Only thing is that for Narrow School, we are short some owner contingency money in case there are changes in the project. So although we are able to sign the contract, we need another $320,000 so as contingency money. By coincidence, the only project that we have surplus funds was actually Brookside School. So what we are proposed to do here, because there's separate six individual projects, we can't just take money from one account and use it for the other projects. So we had to go for a special appropriation process to utilize the money on Brookside for Narrow School. So what's in front of you here is to reduce $320,000 from the city share of Brookside School and go for a special appropriation to move that $320,000 to the Narrow School project, so that in case of the change order work, the things that unforeseen condition that we need money, we have money to take care of it. So I think that's basically what I'm requesting tonight. And the project has started in terms of construction-wise, ordering equipment and things like that. So just a little more information. 2 of the projects scheduled to be finished this December because they involve heating components. Actually, no, yeah. So it's Brookside and Silvermine is scheduled to be completed this fall, winter kind of thing. The other project we started working on it this summer, and we'll continue working on. Some of them maybe have a little bit of second shift work during the year, and the remainder of work will be implemented in summer 2026. So as much as we get the money, we're very aggressively trying to do this project. It still take 2 summers to complete. So anyway, so that's what's in front of you. So basically, we want to move money from excess money from Brookside School and to supplement the funding we have for Narrow School in order to have owner contingency funds. This request went to a board estimate and taxation on Monday this week. They recommended approval and hereby submitting to Finance Committee for this committee's review and approval, and to be forwarded to the Common Council thereafter.
Thank you, Alan, for that narrative on these 2 items. Just the one question I have, I'm assuming we're confident that taking the 320 from the Brookside project will not impact the Brookside project, that there's adequate funding remaining to complete that project in total.
Yes, if I recollect correctly, the budget for Brookside School is either $2 or $3.3 million. The bids came in at a little less than $2 million, and there's also an alternate for $150,000 in case there's a delivery equipment issue that we had to go to second shift work. So when you're at the $1.9 million, it's about $2.1 million, generally speaking, is the contract amount. We have some design services and all, but I'm budgeting about $2.5 million for that project. Remember, the construction cost is estimated about, it's not estimated, it's contracted about $2 million. So when you subtract so we have sufficient contingency of the $2.5 million to go through the process. As you know, we actually put in the duct work in the gym recently. We just completed it. We have a ceremony there the other day, and the equipment is being delivered. So I don't anticipate there's a lot of changes and change order required. So we are in pretty good shape on that project in order to get the $320,000 out of that account.
Okay, great, great. Okay, are there any questions or comments related to this item? All right, hearing seeing none, I'll call for the question. By a show of hands, approving both items 1 and 2 for the authorization for money coming from Brookside and then it being reallocated to Narragansett. All those in favor show by a sign of aye, and it's unanimous. Thank you. So Alan will move these items to the full Common Council on Tuesday, July 22nd for final review and approval.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. All right, that brings us to our last item for the agenda, which is item E, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into a 5-year contract with LightPath Technology, Inc. as secondary internet service provider, annual amount not to exceed $26,400 for a total not to exceed $132,000, account number noted. Do we have a motion on this item? Councilmember Heather Dunn, thank you. And back to our IT Director, Joyce Liu, to take us to our internet service provider.
Thank you so much. So this is item, we are asking mayor to sign a contract with the LightPath Technology for our second internet provider for the city. We, as IT work closely with the purchase department, we put together RFP to find a backup internet service to keep the city's network running smoothly, especially, for the critical service for public safety. LightPath is the only company that meet all our needs and criteria in the RFP and propose a truly separate, independent connection from our current ones. So this means if our internet line is going down, the other one, from the other path will be keep working. So the city's operation will be interrupted. Our primary location for the first ISP comes to the City Hall. This secondary ISP will be connecting directly to the 1 Monroe Street, which is the police headquarters. So this new connection will use its own fiber cable, so it will provide fast, reliable internet, and it is a crucial part of our plan to make sure our network stay up even in an emergency. So I really appreciate your approval to move forward with this contract. So let me know if you need any information from me.
Thank you for that narrative. Having a backup system is extremely important, as you mentioned. Everything travels electronically, and just the one question I have is if our primary service was to go down, is there a period of time or something need to be activated to switch over, or is it automatic, or?
Yeah, it will be automatically. It's like if you consider like internet service, it's like the water getting to your house. Now you have one connecting to your kitchen, another one will connecting from another location of your house. So if one is get down, the other one will automatically So basically we want to keep the two ISP up and running, because one of the reason is police department, because we are processing a lot of data. Once we have the police have putting their body cam, all the big file data will be consume a lot of data. So our plan is have both internet service up and running. It will be one of the PD data consuming will be primary on the second ISP.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. All right. Any other questions or comments related to this authorization? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the question. All those in favor of approving this authorization show by sign of aye, raise of hand, and it's unanimous. Thank you. So we will move this item to the full Common Council on Tuesday, July 22nd for final review and approval. Great. Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you so much.
All right. There being no other items, motion to adjourn. Thank you. Councilmember Heather Dunn. All those in favor? It's unanimous. So thank you. Thanks for your time. We covered a lot of items tonight, and enjoy the rest of the evening.